In a world designed to distract you, the ability to focus is a superpower. Think about that for a minute. Everything around you is engineered to capture your attention. All of those social media algorithms, push notifications, all of these emails. Oh my God, all of the emails. Y'all, I'm sick of all of the emails. I almost don't sign up for any freebies because I don't want all those emails. Marketing messages and news cycles over and over and over again. Your focus is really under constant attack. And most people lose this battle without even realizing that they're fighting this battle. But not you, not anymore. This week, you're learning to guard your attention like you guard your money. You are going to create boundaries and you're going to say no to the distractions. You're protecting your focus this week and beyond fiercely. You got to do that fiercely because your dreams and your goals and reaching your goals, because your goals are depending on it. So let's talk about the true cost of distractions, because many people underestimate how much their lack of focus is costing them. Research shows that every interruption costs an average of 23 minutes of refocus time. That's right. We're not talking about 2 minutes and then we can refocus, or 5 minutes and then we can refocus. 23 minutes to get back to that deep work that you were working on after just one interruption. Multitasking reduces productivity by 40%. Wait, what? Many people think that they can multitask, but you really can't do it that well. It's important that you stay focused on that one activity and really do it deeply. You think you're being efficient by juggling this and this and that, but what's actually happening is that you're sabotaging yourself. Some of your greatest ideas will come when you are doing deep work, not when you're multitasking. Constantly context switching, jumping between email or social media or work and then back again, that drains your mental energy. So by the end of the day, you're tired, you're exhausted, but you haven't even accomplished much of anything. You did a lot of things, but not really anything that produced anything great or moved the needle forward. So what your lack of attention is really costing you is it's costing you your dreams. It's costing you your goals. Your goals are waiting on the other side of focus. This is the book you want to write, the business you want to start, essentially any of the goals you want to achieve, they're all being delayed by your distractions. And today, we're saying enough is enough. This week, we're taking back control of your attention and your focus. So one of the most powerful tools for prioritization is called the Eisenhower matrix. It helps you sort out the tasks that are urgent and those that are important. Quadrant 1, these tasks are urgent and they're important. These are like crises. These are like deadlines, or somebody has an emergency. These are those things you must do first. In quadrant 2, we have the not urgent, but they are important. Now, this is the most important quadrant. This is where your long-term goals live. So, strategic planning, maybe you're doing some skill building, maybe exercise, or even relationship building. Your 5 to 9 time that we talked about in week 2 should be focused here. Most high achievers spend their time in quadrant 2, the not urgent but important. Quadrant 3 is the urgent but not important. This is where you get those interruptions. Most of those emails sit here. Other people's priorities and problems. So in quadrant 3 is where we need to delegate or minimize the number of disruptions that fall in this category. Quadrant 4 is the not urgent and not important. These are those time wasters. First things first, doom scrolling on social media. That's that mindless scrolling that you're doing, and you're wasting too much time here. Or watching too much TV, binging on Netflix episodes. What we need to do with the items that are in quadrant 4 is we got to eliminate these. Now, here's a key insight that you need to know. Most people spend too much time in quadrant 1, 3, and 4. They are constantly reacting and never being proactive. They're always busy and never being productive. You need to shift your time to quadrant 2 because that is where the real transformation happens. So this week, you're going to sort your task using this matrix and commit to protecting your time in quadrant 2. Well, have you heard this before? If everything is a priority, then nothing is a priority. And that makes sense, right? Because some things have to be a priority. This is one of the hardest truths that we face about our focus. You cannot do everything. You have to choose. And when you try to make everything a priority, you end up diluting your energy across too many things. You spread yourself thin. You accomplish very little. It gives me this visual of someone talking about someone standing on the side of the lake or the shore. It is better to throw one brick than to throw all these little tiny pebbles because all the little tiny pebbles make no impact. It is easier to stay focused and throw a brick because we know that brick is going to land. So focus is not about doing more things. It's about doing less things, but doing them better. You need a brick, not all of these tiny pebbles to make an impact. It's about saying no to even good opportunities so you can say yes to the really great opportunities. Sometimes we're presented with something that looks like a pretty good opportunity, but it really isn't getting us towards our goals. And so we have to learn how to say no to some of those good opportunities so we can be open and available to a great opportunity. It's really about sort of like ruthless prioritization. This week, you're going to identify your top 3 priorities, and I want you to protect them fiercely. Everything else is either going to get delegated, delayed, or deleted, period. Your time is limited, and your energy is limited too. And really, your attention is limited. So you're going to have to choose wisely. Now, let's talk about time blocking. I've learned that this is one of the most effective strategies for protecting my focus, and I want you to use it to protect your focus. Time blocking is really simple. You just schedule blocks of time for a specific task. You treat them like unmissable appointments. If you're an entrepreneur, you have got to get in control of the time blocking and your schedule, because it will be one of the best things that you can do for your new business or your existing business. Here's how it works. First, you need to identify your deep work task. What are those things that require you to focus very deeply? Usually it's that thing that you're really good at that nobody else can do. I'm an educator, so sometimes when I'm writing curriculum, I need that deep work time. And so this is a deep work task for me because it moves me closer to the goal that I've set. So I want you to consider that. What requires your deep focus? What is it that moves you closer to your goals? Next, I want you to schedule these tasks on your calendar. What? Yes, put them in your phone. Make them alarms if you have to. In 20 minutes, I'm going to work on this. So set an alarm for 20 minutes. Or at 6:30, from 6:30 to 8:30, I'm going to work on my business plan and schedule that as an appointment in your phone. Treat it like a doctor's appointment. You wouldn't miss your doctor's appointments, so you need to do that same thing. Make it non-negotiable. Walk away from people, go to Starbucks and work if you have to, but make sure you set that time aside and do not miss that appointment with yourself. Now, let's talk about saying no. And I'm saying this gently because if I can be honest, I used to have a really hard time with saying no. And I still say no in a very nice way without saying no. This might be the most important skill you will learn this week. Saying no is not selfish. It is the strategic move. Every yes you say to something unimportant is a no to the something that matters for you. It's a no to going after your goals. So when you say yes to a meeting that has nothing to do with your goals, you're saying no to working on your business plan. When you say yes to scrolling on social media for hours, you're saying no to reading the book that you need with the tools and tips you need to move your goal forward. Or you're saying no to going to exercise if your goal is to losing weight. When you say yes to the cookie, you're basically saying no to losing the weight. You get what I'm saying? So we have to learn how to say no. You can't do everything. You must choose. And when you choose what matters most to you, you protect that choice with firm boundaries. People will ask for your time. They will invite you to things. They'll ask you to do favors for them if they feel like you're not busy. They will invite you to things. And most of them have really good intentions. But that doesn't mean you have to say yes. You can say no kindly, but firmly. "Mm, try something like this. I appreciate the invitation, but I can't commit to that right now." Now, here's another one. If you want to be firm, I'm going to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't say it this way, but it's an opportunity. If you're the kind of person that can, maybe you will try this. That doesn't align with my current priorities. Sounds beautiful, right? Or, I can't right now, but I can help you later. That's probably one that I'll say. Something nicer like that. It doesn't sound like no, but it really is no. It's like a yell, a yes and a no, okay? No is a complete sentence. You don't owe anybody an explanation. Sometimes I feel like I have to give one. And then sometimes I just say what I have to do instead. And so that's sort of like, no, I can't do that right now. I've got to run over here, or I've got to do this, or I've got to do that. All right. Whatever works for you, you figure out your best way to say no, even if it sounds like a a yes and a no. This week, I want you to practice saying no to at least one request that doesn't align with your priorities. You've got to protect your time. I need you to guard your focus so you can get to the goals that you set out. All right, let me share with you what batch tasking has done for my productivity. I used to check emails and notifications constantly, like every 15 minutes. I would go and check my phone, check my phone, check my phone. And then I realized I was destroying my focus. I started working on something important, and then I get an email, or then I get a text notification. And you know what I do? I turn around and I check it. And then when I get back to my work, 30 minutes has passed because I was engaged in this text conversation with somebody, and now I'm off task and I'm not focused. So I've decided now I need to check my email just twice a day, once at noon and once at 5 p.m. That's it. If it's urgent, people can call me or they can wait. I think sometimes we think when we get an email, we need to respond right away, but it's an email. It's not a text message. I'll get back to it. You'll get back to it. I used to take calls randomly throughout the day. Now I schedule calls at a specific time block. Sometimes it's Tuesday afternoon or Thursday afternoon. After I've looked at my schedule for the week on Sunday, I kind of schedule everything else to determine if I can talk at that time, or, hey, I'm going to give you a call around 2 o'clock on Tuesday. You think you'll be available? And if somebody is calling and they just want to talk, we can schedule it during one of those times I had available. So I used to accept every meeting invitation. And then I learned to ask this question. Could you just send me an email about this? Or, what is the agenda for this meeting? And what do you expect to get out of this meeting? If they didn't have anything clear and they just wanted to get together to be talking, I'm probably going to decline the meeting or ask them to send me an email with that information. The result of doing that is I had more time to get things done for myself. I was able to double my productivity because I'm not constantly switching from my deep work task to all of these interruptions. I'm more focused and I'm more intentional. And sometimes I just like being unavailable and being with me because I've got things to get done. So think about batching your tasks because this can be a game changer. Look at all the things that you have to do. Look at your schedule and figure out how can I put these things together so they don't take over my whole week, but I can do them on a specific day at a specific time. So, you ready? Here's what you're going to do this week. First, you're going to complete the 3-day distraction audit. You're going to track every single thing that distracts you for 3 days. You're going to identify your top 3 distractions. You might already know what these things are. And if you do, then you're going to do the second part of this, and that's create an elimination plan. Next, you're going to sort your task using that Eisenhower matrix that I gave you. What is urgent and important? What is important, but it's not urgent? And where should you be spending your time if you're going to get your goals, if you're going to reach your goals? Third, you're going to schedule at least 3 deep work blocks on your calendar this week. Remember, we have to treat these like doctor's appointments. These are appointments with yourself, and so I want you to protect them fiercely so that you have time to do the things that are going to get you to your goals. All right? And then fourth, we're going to turn off non-essential notifications. Turn off those notifications on your phone. Your phone does not need to be vibrating or buzzing every time somebody likes your post or sends you a comment, or all of these companies that are constantly sending these notifications on your phone. Turn those notifications off because that's interrupting your deep work time. If you don't turn those notifications off, another little trick that I've done is I've taken that app from the first page where I would see that notification as soon as I pick up my phone to a few 3 or 4 pages down the way, okay? And if you can't do that, then just delete the app and be done with it and come back to it later. Now, I know we need certain apps for our business, but if it's going to interrupt your deep work time, you've got to come up with some strategies to get rid of those interruptions. And fifth, I need you to practice saying no this week, even if you have to say a nice no, like I do. But at least once this week, I want you to say no to a request that doesn't align with your priorities. Now let's talk about our deep work because we always got to go deep. We got to do some journaling, got to do some reflections. So here are the questions I want you to answer. What would you accomplish if you had 3 hours of completely uninterrupted focus time every single day? You do it for your job. How come you can't do it for yourself? Okay, I'm being messy. What am I avoiding by staying busy and distracted? How much of my day is spent on other people's problems and priorities instead of my own? Why do I struggle to say no? I'm still asking myself that question. I think I just want to be nice and I feel like saying no is mean. I don't know. What am I afraid will happen if I set boundaries? These questions will help you understand your relationship with your focus and your relationship with boundaries. All right. I want you to use AI to help you prioritize and focus. So I've got a little prompt here from ChatGPT. I want you to consider using this to help you sort your task, maybe even using it with the Eisenhower matrix. Creating time blocking schedules can be done with your ChatGPT, or writing a professional no response. It's that yes and that no, but you can make it professional if you need to for business priorities, right? And identify any time wasters. Remember that there are some amazing tools online that you can use in addition to this prompt. There are tools like Freedom. There's also this program called Cold Turkey that helps you block distracting websites. There's a program called Rescue Time that tracks how you spend your time. Forest app, which helps keep you off your phone. These tools will help you to protect your focus. I want you to share your biggest distraction on the community engagement page. I want you to be specific. Tell us, is it social media? Is it email? Is it people? Is it the environment? But share with us how it's affecting your goal. What is your elimination strategy? How are you going to get rid of this distraction? Find an accountability partner, check in daily with this person, come to the community and let's celebrate your wins. If you had a deep focus work period, I want you to come and tell us when you did it, how you did it, and what you accomplished. Remember that every boundary you set is progress. Progress towards what? Progress towards your goals. All right, Proverbs 4:23 says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Your heart includes your mind, your attention, and your focus. And what you allow into your mind shapes your thoughts. That's that fulcrum mindset method right there. If you change your thinking, you change your life. So you got to be careful what you allow into your mind. Your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your life. You have to guard your focus like you guard your heart. What you pay attention to matters, so you must protect it fiercely.